Driverly.com, unlimited drama series.
The first thing you need to know about my wife, Anna, is that she lies like most people breathe, constantly and without thinking about it. The second thing is that she's been screwing my business partner, Troy, for 6 months, though she thinks I don't know. The third thing, I'm about to make them both pay in ways they never saw coming. My name is Steve Parrish, and I own Parrish Electric with my sister Kate. We're not talking about some mom-and-pop outfit here. We've got 43 employees and contracts worth $8 million a year. Anna married me thinking she was getting a dumb electrician. What she got was a guy who rewires entire office buildings and knows exactly how to cut the right connections to bring down a whole system. "Steve, you're being so cold lately," Anna said last Tuesday night, standing in our kitchen, wearing a dress that cost more than most people make in a week. She was getting ready for another one of her girls' nights with Lexi, Sam, and Dana, the 3 witches who'd been enabling her double life. "Just practicing," I told her, not looking up from my coffee, "for when you're gone." She laughed that fake laugh she'd perfected over our 7 years of marriage. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing, honey. Have fun at your book club." We both knew she hadn't read a book since high school. After she left, I sat in my leather chair, the one she always complained was too blue-collar for our living room, and thought about how this all started. 3 weeks ago, Anna left her iPad on the kitchen counter. The screen lit up with a text notification, and I saw something that made my blood freeze. "Tina was amazing last night. My legs are still shaking. Can't wait for next weekend's party." Tina. That was their code name for Troy. I'd figured that out after finding their group chat, where my wife and her friends discussed their affairs like they were reviewing restaurants. Anna had rated Troy's performance in bed, complete with explicit details about what he did to her in the back seat of his BMW. She'd also made jokes about my disappointing bedroom skills and how I was probably too tired from playing with electrical wires all day. The worst part? They'd been planning this for months. Anna had been feeding Troy information about our company finances, helping him position himself to push me out of my own business. They thought they were so clever, using code names and meeting at expensive hotels downtown. But here's what they didn't know. I'd been 3 steps ahead of them since day one. I hired Marcus Webb, a former police detective turned private investigator, the morning after I found that first text. Marcus taught me surveillance techniques that would make the FBI proud. We installed GPS trackers on Anna's car, completely legal since it was registered in both our names. We followed her to the Marriott downtown, where she and Troy had been meeting every Thursday for what she told me were charity planning meetings. Marcus got photos, lots of them. Anna and Troy in the hotel bar, her hand on his thigh. Anna and Troy in the parking garage, pressed against his car like teenagers. Anna and Troy stumbling out of the elevator, clothes disheveled, lipstick smeared. But the real goldmine was the party they threw last Saturday at Troy's lake house. Anna told me she was going to a spa weekend with the girls. Instead, she went to what could only be described as a cocaine-fueled orgy. Marcus got it all on camera from the public dock across the lake. Anna snorting lines off a glass table. Anna dancing topless on Troy's deck. Anna passed out in a lawn chair while Troy groped her unconscious body. "Jesus Christ," Marcus said when he showed me the photos. "Your wife's got problems, Steve." "Had problems," I corrected him. Past tense. That was Monday. By Wednesday, I'd already set my plan in motion. First, I called our company lawyer, Ben Morrison, and had him draw up papers to sell Anna's shares in Parrish Electric. Since she'd been declared mentally incompetent due to substance abuse, backed by Marcus's photographic evidence, the sale was completely legal. I sold her 40% stake to a shell company for $1. The shell company was owned by Kate. Second, I moved our assets. Anna had access to our joint accounts, but she didn't know about the business accounts or the investment portfolio I'd been building for years. By Thursday morning, she had access to exactly $300 and change. Third, I hired the best divorce attorney in the state. Margaret Chen had a reputation for destroying cheating spouses in court. She took one look at Marcus's evidence and smiled like a shark smelling blood. "This is going to be fun," she said. Friday evening, Anna came home from another girls' night to find me sitting in the living room with a scotch and a stack of papers. "What's all that?" she asked, trying to sound casual. "Divorce papers," I said. "Already filed, already approved." "You've been served." Her face went white. "Steve, what are you talking about? We can work this out. Whatever you think happened, I think Troy's dick tastes like disappointment. But you'd know better than me. She tried to run then, but I'd been expecting that. I followed her outside, where she stopped dead in her tracks. Across the street, on the digital billboard that usually advertised car dealerships and fast food, was a photo of her from Troy's party. She was topless, cocaine residue visible around her nose, passed out with her legs spread. Below the photo, in letters 10 feet tall, were the words, Anna Parrish. Cheating wife, drug addict, liar. You bastard, she screamed, running toward me with her fists raised. That's when the police cars pulled up. I'd called them 20 minutes earlier, reporting a domestic disturbance and requesting a welfare check on my unstable wife. Evening, officers, I said calmly. I think my wife needs help. The look on Anna's face when the cops handcuffed her was worth every penny I'd spent on Marcus's investigation. They didn't arrest her, just took her in for a 72-hour psychiatric evaluation after I showed them the party photos and explained her recent erratic behavior. She's been using cocaine regularly, I told Officer Martinez, handing him a manila folder thick with evidence. She's been having an affair with my business partner. She's been stealing money from our joint accounts to fund her drug habit. I'm concerned she might hurt herself or others. Anna screamed obscenities at me as they loaded her into the ambulance. The neighbors came out to watch. The Johnsons from next door, the Millers from across the street, old Mrs. Patterson who ran the neighborhood watch. By morning, everyone in our subdivision would know exactly what kind of woman Anna Parrish really was. That was just the opening move. While Anna was getting her head examined, I spent the weekend implementing phase 2 of my plan. Kate helped me change all the locks on our house and install a security system. We moved Anna's belongings to the garage and covered them with a tarp. I canceled her credit cards, her gym membership, her country club access, and her subscription to the Wine of the Month club she loved so much. You're being ruthless, Kate said as we worked. I love it. Nain, Kate's 2 years younger than me, but she's tougher than most men I know. She handles the business side of Parrish Electric while I deal with the technical stuff. She also has a black belt in judo and zero tolerance for people who betray family. Anna made her choice, I said, packing up the expensive perfumes and designer clothes I'd been paying for. Now she gets to live with the consequences. Sunday afternoon, Troy called my cell phone. I'd been expecting this. Steve, we need to talk, he said, trying to sound authoritative. About Anna, about the business, about this whole misunderstanding. No misunderstanding, Troy. You've been fucking my wife and stealing from my company. Pretty clear-cut situation. Look, things got complicated, but we can work this out like adults. Anna's not thinking clearly right now. She needs help, not public humiliation. I laughed. You're absolutely right. She needs help. That's why she's getting professional psychiatric care. As for you, you're fired. You can't fire me, Steve. I own 40% of this company. Owned, past tense. Check your email. I hung up and immediately called Ben Morrison. Troy's going to contest the sale, I told him. He'll claim Anna wasn't mentally competent to sign over her shares. Let him try, Ben said. We have photos of her snorting cocaine off a stripper's ass. Good luck explaining that to a judge. Monday morning, I arrived at the Parrish Electric offices to find Troy waiting in the parking lot. He looked like he hadn't slept all weekend. His usually perfect hair was disheveled. His expensive suit was wrinkled, and his eyes were bloodshot. We're going to settle this right now, he said, getting out of his Mercedes as I parked my truck. Nothing to settle, Troy. Clean out your office and leave your keys with reception. He followed me into the building, past the receptionist who'd been with us for 5 years, past the break room where our electricians were getting ready for their morning jobs, straight into the conference room where Kate was waiting with Ben Morrison and Marcus Webb. What the hell is this? Troy demanded. This, I said, taking a seat at the head of the table, is your exit interview. Ben slid a folder across the table to Troy. Mr. Mallon, our investigation has revealed that you've been embezzling funds from Parrish Electric for the past 8 months. You've been padding invoices, billing for materials that were never purchased, and skimming cash from service calls. Troy's face went red. That's bullshit. You can't prove any of that. Marcus opened his laptop and turned the screen toward Troy. Actually, we can. See, when you were busy screwing Steve's wife, you got careless, left your computer unlocked during one of your hotel meetings. Amazing what you can photograph through a window with a telephoto lens. The screen showed Troy's email inbox, with dozens of messages to fake suppliers and altered invoices clearly visible. You stole $47,000, Kate said. We have documentation going back to last January. Troy stood up so fast his chair fell over. This is entrapment. You can't use illegally obtained evidence. Nothing illegal about photographing someone through a window in a public hotel, Marcus said. Everything we collected was obtained from publicly visible areas or with proper legal authorization. The embezzlement charges will be filed this afternoon, Ben added. Unless, of course, you'd prefer to make full restitution and sign a confession in exchange for us keeping this out of the courts. Troy looked around the room like a trapped animal. Where's Anna? I want to talk to Anna. Anna's indisposed, I said. 72-hour psychiatric hold, remember? But don't worry, she'll be out tomorrow, just in time for the party. What party? I smiled. The charity gala at the country club, the one where Anna was supposed to give a speech about family values and community service. Don't worry, I made sure she won't miss it. Anna was released from the psychiatric facility Tuesday afternoon, and she went straight to her friend Lexi's house. I knew this because I'd had Marcus keep tabs on her movements. What Anna didn't know was that Lexi had already thrown her under the bus. See, Lexi Morrison. Yes, she was married to my lawyer Ben, had her own secrets. She'd been dealing cocaine to their little social circle, using her husband's law firm as a front for money laundering. When Ben found out, he gave her a choice: cooperate with my investigation or face federal drug charges. Lexi chose cooperation. Anna's completely lost it, Lexi told me over the phone Tuesday evening. She's convinced you're going to ruin her life. She keeps talking about getting revenge, making you pay for humiliating her. What kind of revenge? She wants to destroy your business. She's been calling your clients, telling them you're unstable and dangerous. She called the Hendersons and told them you were going to overcharge them for their kitchen renovation. She called the city planning office and filed a complaint about your electrical permits. This was actually perfect. Every call Anna made, every lie she told, every desperate attempt to sabotage my business was being recorded. Ben had obtained a court order allowing us to monitor her communications as part of the embezzlement investigation. There's something else, Lexi said. She's planning something for the gala tomorrow night. She won't tell me what, but she's been working with Troy. They think they can publicly embarrass you, turn the whole community against you. Let them try, I said. The Riverside Country Club Charity Gala was the social event of the year. 500 of the city's wealthiest and most influential people would be there, including the mayor, the police chief, 3 city council members, and the presidents of both local banks. Anna had been planning her speech for months. She was supposed to talk about the importance of family values and community service, ironically enough. I arrived at the gala alone, wearing my best suit and a smile that probably looked more predatory than friendly. Anna was already there, holding court near the bar with Troy, Sam, and Dana. She'd managed to pull herself together. Expensive dress, professional makeup, hair done at the salon she could no longer afford. She saw me across the room, and her face went pale. Troy whispered something in her ear, and she nodded. Ladies and gentlemen, the event coordinator announced, please take your seats. We're about to begin tonight's program. I sat at a table near the back, next to Marcus and Kate. Ben Morrison was at the head table with the other VIPs. Lexi was conspicuously absent. Anna Parrish will now address us about the importance of family values in our community, the coordinator said. Anna walked to the podium, her heels clicking on the marble floor. She looked confident, composed, ready to deliver what she probably thought would be a devastating attack on my character. Thank you all for being here tonight, she began. I want to talk to you about betrayal, about what happens when the people we trust most turn against us. She launched into a prepared speech about how I'd abandoned her in her time of need, how I'd cruelly humiliated her when she was struggling with personal problems, how I was an unstable man who couldn't be trusted with other people's homes and businesses. The audience listened politely, but I could see confusion on their faces. They'd all heard the rumors by now, about the cocaine, about the affair, about the psychiatric hold. Anna's version of events didn't match what they already knew. My husband, Steve Parrish, is a vindictive, cruel man who— That's when I stood up and pressed the button on the remote control in my pocket. The lights dimmed, and the massive screen behind Anna lit up with a video Marcus had edited together from our surveillance footage. Anna and Troy in the hotel bar, laughing about my pathetic performance in bed. Anna snorting cocaine off a glass table at Troy's lake house. Anna passed out topless while Troy groped her unconscious body. The audio was crystal clear. "Steve's so stupid," Anna's voice echoed through the ballroom. "He has no idea what's happening right under his nose. Troy and I are going to take everything from him: the business, the house, his reputation. He'll be lucky to get a job installing light fixtures when we're done with him." The room was dead silent except for Anna's recorded laughter. On screen, Anna was now dancing naked on Troy's deck, while a group of men cheered her on. The timestamp showed it was from last Saturday, the same weekend she'd told everyone she was at a spa retreat. "Turn it off!" Anna screamed, rushing toward the projection booth. "Turn it off, right now!" But the video kept playing. Anna having—
Since when do you carry men's cologne to the gym?
It's my trainer's. He left it.
Your trainer keeps his cologne.
Watch more on Grammarly.com.
sex with Troy in the back seat of his car. Anna counting stacks of cash she'd stolen from our joint accounts. Anna and her friends planning to destroy my business and reputation. Troy tried to run, but Marcus blocked the exit. Hotel security, who I'd hired for the evening, surrounded the exits. "The woman you just heard speaking," I said, walking to the front of the room as my wife collapsed in tears on the stage, "is Anna Parrish, my soon-to-be ex-wife. The man she's been having an affair with is Troy Mullen, who until recently was my business partner. The drugs you saw her using were purchased with money she stole from our joint accounts. The lies you heard her telling were recorded over the past 3 weeks as she attempted to destroy my business and reputation." I looked around the room at the shocked faces. The mayor's mouth was hanging open. The police chief was taking notes. The bank presidents were whispering to each other. "I wanted you all to see this before you heard Anna's version of events," I continued, "because Anna Parrish is very good at playing the victim. She's very good at making people feel sorry for her. But as you can see, she's not the victim in this situation." Anna was sobbing now, her makeup running, her expensive dress torn from her desperate attempt to reach the projection booth. "You bastard," she screamed. "You sick, twisted bastard." "Ma'am," Police Chief Davidson said, approaching the stage, "I think you need to come with us." "On what charges?" Troy demanded, finally finding his voice. "Embezzlement, for starters," Ben Morrison said, standing up at the head table. "We filed charges this afternoon. There's also the matter of the cocaine possession, the public intoxication, and the harassment campaign against Mr. Parrish's business clients." The video was still playing on the screen, now showing Anna and Troy planning to frame me for domestic violence, complete with fake bruises and a rehearsed story for the police. "We have everything," I told the room. "Every lie, every theft, every plan to destroy my life and business. It's all documented, all recorded legally, all admissible in court." Anna tried to run then, pushing past the security guards and heading for the exit. She made it about 10 feet before Kate tackled her to the ground. My sister might be smaller than Anna, but she's a lot tougher. "Going somewhere?" Kate asked, pinning Anna to the marble floor with a judo hold. The police handcuffed both Anna and Troy as the video finally ended. The room was still dead silent, 500 of the city's most important people staring at the spectacle unfolding in front of them. "Ladies and gentlemen," I said, straightening my tie, "I apologize for disrupting your evening. Please enjoy the rest of the gala. The Parrish Electric Company will be making a $50,000 donation to tonight's charity in honor of family values and community service." The applause started slowly, then built to a thunderous ovation. As the police led Anna and Troy away, people started coming up to shake my hand, pat my back, tell me how sorry they were for what I'd been through. "Brilliant," Mayor Williams said. "Absolutely brilliant. That woman had everyone fooled." But this was just the opening act. The real show was about to begin. Anna made bail Wednesday morning, thanks to her father's money. Richard Whitcomb was old money aristocracy, the kind of man who'd never worked a day in his life but somehow owned half the commercial real estate downtown. He'd always hated me, thought his precious daughter had married beneath her station. "You've destroyed my family," he said when he called me Wednesday afternoon. "Anna is in the hospital because of you. She tried to kill herself last night." Anna's in the hospital because she overdosed on cocaine, I replied. The suicide attempt story is just her way of getting sympathy. Check with the doctors. They'll tell you it was accidental. You're a monster, Steve Parrish, but you've made a mistake. You think you've won, but you have no idea who you're dealing with. He was right about one thing. I had no idea what he was capable of. But I was about to find out. Thursday morning, I arrived at the Parrish Electric offices to find them surrounded by police cars and news vans. Detective Sarah Collins met me in the parking lot. Mr. Parrish, we need to talk. There's been an accusation of domestic violence against you. Also fraud, embezzlement, and criminal harassment. From who? Anna Parrish. She's filed a formal complaint claiming you've been physically abusing her for years, stealing money from your joint accounts, and orchestrating a campaign of psychological torture. I handed her a business card. Detective, I'd like you to call my attorney, Ben Morrison. He'll provide you with documentation that proves every one of those accusations is false. We still need to investigate, Mr. Parrish. That means we'll be going through your financial records, interviewing your employees, examining your home. Of course, I have nothing to hide. What I didn't tell her was that I'd been expecting this. Anna was predictable. When cornered, she always doubled down on the lies. Ben had prepared for this exact scenario. The investigation took 3 days. Police interviewed Kate, Marcus, our employees, our neighbors, and our clients. They examined every financial record, every bank statement, every business transaction going back 5 years. They found nothing because there was nothing to find. What they did find, however, was more evidence of Anna's crimes. Her laptop, which police confiscated from Lexi's house, contained detailed plans to frame me for domestic violence. She'd researched how to fake bruises, how to make false police reports, how to manipulate evidence to support her story. Your wife is either the unluckiest woman in the world, Detective Collins told me Friday afternoon, or she's a pathological liar who's been planning this for months. What do you think? I think she's going to prison. That evening, Anna showed up at my house. She looked terrible. Hollow eyes, unwashed hair, clothes that hung loose on her shrinking frame. The cocaine and stress were taking their toll. Steve, please, she said when I opened the door. We need to talk. We have nothing to talk about, Anna. Speak to my lawyer. I'll make you a deal. Drop the charges. Give me half of everything, and I'll disappear. You'll never see me again. I laughed. You're in no position to make deals. You're going to prison, Anna. Troy's going to prison. Your father's going to lose everything when the IRS finishes investigating his finances. Her face went white. What are you talking about? Did you really think I wouldn't look into Daddy's business dealings? The shell companies, the tax evasion, the money laundering through his real estate empire? Marcus is very thorough. You can't touch my father. He's done nothing wrong. Richard Whitcomb has been evading taxes for 20 years. He's been laundering money through fake real estate transactions. He's been bribing city officials to get favorable zoning decisions. We have documentation of everything. Anna started crying then. Real tears, not the fake ones she'd been using to manipulate people. Please, Steve, I'm begging you. I'll do anything. Anything, she nodded desperately. Then confess, publicly. Tell everyone the truth about what you did, what Troy did, what your father's been doing. Make a full confession and maybe I'll consider not destroying all of you completely. I can't do that. Then we have nothing to talk about. I started to close the door, but she grabbed my arm. Steve, wait, there's something you don't know. Something about Troy, about the business, about why we really... That's when the gunshot shattered my front window. The bullet missed my head by 6 inches, embedding itself in the doorframe behind me. Anna screamed and dove to the ground as I pulled her inside and slammed the door. Call 911, I shouted to Kate, who was in the kitchen. Through the broken window, I could see Troy standing across the street with a hunting rifle. He was drunk, or high, or both, swaying on his feet as he tried to reload. Steve Parrish, he screamed. You destroyed my life. You destroyed everything. Another shot shattered the living room window. Anna was sobbing on the floor, covered in broken glass. He's lost his mind, she whispered. He's been talking about killing you, killing himself, burning down your business. Now you tell me. Police sirens were already approaching. My security system had automatically alerted them when the windows broke. Troy heard them too and started running toward his car. He's getting away, Anna said. No, I replied, watching through the broken window as Troy's Mercedes refused to start. He's not. See, I'd been expecting something like this. Troy was unstable, desperate, and stupid enough to try violence when his other plans failed. So yesterday, Marcus and I had paid a visit to Troy's car while it was parked at his apartment complex. We didn't damage anything, just disconnected the battery and loosened a few key wires. Troy was still trying to start his car when the police surrounded him. "Drop the weapon," Officer Martinez shouted. "Drop it now." Troy looked around wildly, then pointed the rifle at his own head. "This is all your fault, Steve," he screamed. "You ruined everything. Anna and I were in love. We were going to be happy." "Troy, don't!" Anna called from inside the house. But Troy wasn't listening. He was having a complete breakdown, screaming about how unfair life was, how I'd stolen his future, how he deserved better than this. "I was going to be rich," he yelled. "I was going to have the business, the house, the girl. It was supposed to be mine." That's when Anna said something that changed everything. "Tell him, Troy," she shouted. "Tell him the truth. Tell him why we really did it." Troy looked at the house, his face twisted with rage and desperation. "You want to know the truth, Steve? Your wife came to me. She planned the whole thing. The affair was her idea. She wanted to destroy you, take your business, leave you with nothing." "That's not true," Anna protested. "She's been planning this for 2 years," Troy continued. "Ever since her father's business started failing. She needed money, and you were the target. She seduced me, convinced me to help her, promised me half of everything when you were gone." I looked down at Anna, who was still lying on the floor covered in glass. Her face told me everything I needed to know. Troy was telling the truth. "Anna?" She couldn't meet my eyes. "Steve, I can explain." "Explain what? That our entire marriage was a lie? That you've been planning to destroy me for years? It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I did love you, at first, but then Daddy's business started having problems, and we needed money, and you were always so focused on work, so you decided to steal everything I'd built and leave me with nothing. I'm sorry, Steve. I'm so sorry." Outside, Troy was still waving the rifle around, but the police had him surrounded. There was no way out for him, and he knew it. "You know what the funny thing is?" I said to Anna. "I actually felt guilty about destroying your life. I thought maybe I was being too harsh, too cruel. But you planned this whole thing. You made me the victim of an elaborate con game." "Steve, please, no. We're done talking." I walked to the broken window and called out to Troy. "Troy, you want to know what Anna told me last night?" "Steve, don't," Anna begged. "She said you were terrible in bed. She said she was faking it the whole time. She said she was going to dump you as soon as she got my money." Troy's face went purple with rage. "You lying bitch," he screamed at Anna. "You said you loved me. You said we were going to be together." "I do love you," Anna called back. "Don't listen to him." "Then why did you tell the police that the affair was all my idea? Why did you say I forced you to help me steal his money?" Anna's face went white. She hadn't realized that Troy knew about her plea bargain negotiations. "That's not what I said." "Yes, it is," Troy screamed. "You threw me under the bus to save yourself. Just like you threw Steve under the bus to get his money." He pointed the rifle at the house again, but this time he was aiming at Anna. "If I can't have you, nobody can." That's when Detective Collins shot him. The bullet hit Troy in the shoulder, spinning him around and sending the rifle flying. He collapsed on the pavement, screaming in pain and rage. "It's over," I said to Anna, as the paramedics worked on Troy across the street. "Steve, please. I know I made mistakes, but we can work this out. I'll get help. I'll change. Anna, stop. It's over. The marriage is over. Your con game is over. Your life as you knew it is over." She started crying again, but I felt nothing. No sympathy, no regret, no sadness. She'd made her choice years ago when she decided to destroy me. Now she had to live with the consequences. "What happens now?" she whispered. Now you go to prison. Troy goes to prison. Your father loses everything when the IRS seizes his assets, and I go back to my life. What about forgiveness? What about second chances?" I looked at her, really looked at her, for what I knew would be the last time. "Anna, you spent 2 years planning to destroy me. You seduced my business partner, stole my money, tried to frame me for domestic violence, and would have left me bankrupt and broken if you'd succeeded. You don't get forgiveness. You don't get second chances. You get exactly what you deserve." The police were putting Troy into an ambulance now. He was conscious, still screaming threats and accusations. "Mrs. Parrish," Detective Collins said, approaching the house. We need you to come with us. There are some questions we need to ask about Mr. Mallon's accusations. Anna looked at me one last time, her face streaked with tears and blood from the broken glass. I really did love you once, she said. No, I replied. You didn't. You loved what I could give you. There's a difference. As the police led Anna away, Kate came and stood beside me in the doorway. It's really over, she said. Yeah, it's really over. We stood there watching the police cars and ambulances drive away, leaving our quiet neighborhood peaceful again. The Johnsons came over to check on us. Mrs. Patterson brought coffee and cookies. The Millers offered to help clean up the broken glass. You did the right thing, Mr. Johnson said. That woman fooled all of us. Some people are just rotten, Mrs. Patterson added. No fixing them. As the sun set, I sat in my leather chair, the one Anna had always hated, and poured myself a scotch. Tomorrow, I'd have to deal with insurance claims and window repairs and probably more police interviews. But tonight, for the first time in months, I felt peace. My phone buzzed with a text from Ben Morrison. Anna confessed to everything. She'll plead guilty to avoid trial. Troy's looking at 5 to 10 years. Your divorce will be final next week. Congratulations, Steve. You won. I'd won, all right. But it didn't feel like victory. It felt like justice. Anna Parrish had tried to destroy me, and instead, she'd destroyed herself. Troy Mallon had tried to steal my life, and instead, he'd lost his own. Richard Whitcomb had tried to use his money and influence to crush me, and instead, he was facing federal charges that would leave him broke and imprisoned. They'd all underestimated the quiet electrician who knew how to cut the right wires to bring down an entire system. I raised my glass to the empty room and smiled. Next time, I said to nobody in particular, don't cross wires with an electrician.